Hello, my name is Allison Carmen, and welcome to my podcast, 10 Minutes to Less Suffering. And today I want to talk to you about the Thanksgiving that you want it to be. I was watching a commercial the other day, and I saw a big group of people in the commercial, and they were all sitting around a table, and there was a big turkey and cranberry sauce, and all the food looked beautiful. And it did remind me of Thanksgivings I had as a child, or even Thanksgivings I had 5 years ago. But my life's not like that anymore. I'm not having a big Thanksgiving this year. And a part of me started to feel sad. I started to think about, why aren't I having a big group of people over? And isn't it sad I'm not going to see this person or this person? And I actually even started to feel bad about myself and bad about my life because I wasn't having this picture of what I thought I was supposed to have. And I know many of us get caught here, not just about Thanksgiving, but about so many aspects of our lives where we're presented with this image or this thought of who we think we need to be or how we think something needs to happen. And we end up at the end of the day feeling lost and miserable and feeling like we don't have enough and our life's not how it should be. And it just sends us into a tailspin. And as I like to call it, we sink. So when I started to think these things about Thanksgiving, I caught myself very quickly. I asked myself, what are you really feeling? That's the thing. We never get to that question because we're so busy thinking about the things we're supposed to want or how things are supposed to be. And when I looked at my feeling, I was feeling a little grief and loss, but I was also feeling kind of tired and maybe not so unhappy that it was going to be a quiet Thanksgiving. And so then I asked myself, what was my need? What's the need behind the feeling? And the need was nurturing. The need was joy, quiet. I just wanted to be with my daughters. I haven't seen them. I'm an empty nester now, and they're both coming home for the holidays, and I didn't want to miss a minute with them. I didn't want to be cooking for 40 people and seeing all these people that I could see other times when I could have these intimate, beautiful conversations with both my children. And so we're going out for dinner. We're having a French Thanksgiving at this little nice restaurant down the block from where we live. And I tell you this story not to be against big Thanksgiving meals because they're wonderful. So I tell you this story to give you the opportunity to look at where you are in your life and look at this holiday season and ask yourself some deeper questions about where you are, where you think you need to be, and where you want to be. I think that's the place we get caught. We get caught in this image of what we're supposed to like and what we're supposed to do and who we're supposed to be with. And sometimes it doesn't align with our true self. And another problem is we look at Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat and TikTok and we see what other people are doing. And it brings up a feeling of low self-worth within us or wanting or desire. And even then we get confused. The minute we feel a lack, when we see somebody happy or joyful or something looks glamorous, sometimes we don't even take the time to connect to see, is that what I really want? And it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with what you just saw. And that just actually even happened to me the other night. I was on Instagram and I was looking at one of my friend's sons who has just a delightful life in New York City. He goes out all the time and he's on all these different sports teams and goes to all these fun events. And I found when I started to look at his page, I started to have a longing. And I said, oh my goodness, what do I want to do? Go out with my friend's son and all his friends? And it wasn't that. I wasn't longing to go to his work events or his nights out. I was longing to go out. I was longing to go out with my friends. I was longing to go out and meet new people. But you have to take the time to separate it. If not, you just tailspin and you start to sink because you just go into this feeling of lack, I don't have, I can't have. But for me, the minute I realized that for myself, I was able to make plans with people. I was able to focus on new things I wanted to do, things I wanted to learn. We just have to remember that whatever comes up for us, if we disconnect our feelings from our needs, it's always going to be about what we don't have, and it's always going to be about what someone else has. But when we connect it back to our needs, that's when we start to really figure out what we want our life to look like. So whether you're thinking about Thanksgiving, whether you're thinking about a job, whether you're thinking about your social life, It's really interesting to look within. That is our best compass as to what will make us happy, what will give us joy, what will give our lives meaning. When we start to do that, then we end up at the right place at Thanksgiving, and we end up at the right place on a Thursday night, and we end up at the right place on a Sunday afternoon. And we really feel like we're living the life we want to live. And yes, often it takes time to pursue our dreams and our goals, but it doesn't take much time to have a fulfilling moment or a fulfilling afternoon. And then one moment leads to the next, and all of a sudden, we've actually not just had a desire, but we've acted on that desire with an inspired action, and we've created something in our life that is deeply meaningful to us. So how does this work? The first thing is to be aware. Be aware of how you're feeling. If it's something like Thanksgiving, are you happy about where you're going to be spending Thanksgiving? How do you want to spend that day off? Who do you want to spend it with? If it's about a job, be aware of how you feel about it every day. Are you happy? Are you joyful? Do you feel bored? Do you feel empty? If it's about a relationship, really look at what you're feeling every day. And then beneath that feeling is a need. See, sometimes feelings are tricky because they seem so real to us. But what's real is what's coming beneath them. It's the thing in us that we want to nurture, that we find fulfilling, that we actually find meaningful. So I always equate the need with the meaning. So again, for my Thanksgiving, my need was to connect with my girls and to have peace. Your need might be to connect with 40 people that day. Your need at work might be you're not being listened to, or you need to make more money to afford your mortgage, or you need to be more interested every day. Your need in a relationship might be something different than you're getting. Whatever it is, don't just go with your feelings and connect to the outside world. Go beneath it and go to what's real for you. And then when you discover your need, that's when you could take an inspired action. So for me, again, it's a simple example. My inspired action was not to invite 40 people to my house. It was to make a reservation at the small restaurant down the block. And your inspired action might not be about Thanksgiving. It might be about work or relationship. But when you connect back, the outside world is not going to move you that way. And there's nothing wrong with looking at TikTok or Instagram and allowing feelings to come up. You know, sometimes our feelings, that's letting us know, wait, there's something in me that doesn't feel right. Because if it felt right when you were watching these things, it would be, oh, that's funny, that's sad, that's not interesting. But if it's bringing up a feeling of grief in you, of lack in you, then your feelings are telling you something. And you can't solve it on the outside. You can't solve it by making a TikTok. You can't solve it by calling 1,000 friends. You solve it by looking deeper within. So again, it's about awareness of our lives, asking ourselves how we feel, and then letting those feelings drive us towards that need, that meaning that we desire, and that what inspired action will get us there. That's a great way to live. Remember that the future is unknown. So every feeling that you have and every need that you have, that inspired action has potential really to happen. That's what uncertainty is all about. It's like there's unknown playing field. We think life is limited, but only our thinking is limited. And then we look at the outside world and we think we can't have what we want. So we separate ourselves from all the potential and all what's possible. But if you stay with your feelings and you stay with your needs and you stay with that inspired action, you will be the creator of the life you want to live. It might not come the way you thought, but I promise you it will fulfill your needs. And when it fulfills your needs and it gives you meaning, that is all you need. That is where your joy will be generated from. That's where your creativity will just keep opening up again and again. And your desire for love and peace and well-being and joy, it'll all be there for you. But we have to stay on the playing field, and we get off the playing field when the outside world dictates how we feel every day. And what other people have becomes the reason why we're feeling so bad about our own lives. But the key is to go back to ourselves again and again and ask the right questions. And when we ask the right questions, we get to the right answers. I hope you really give this a try, because sometimes this is all that stands between us and a new life. There's a world waiting out there for you. A wonderful holiday season, wonderful friends, wonderful job opportunities, wonderful joy in relationships. You just have to open up to you. And when you open up to you, you open up to all your potential. Thank you for listening to this podcast today. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you could email me at allison@allisoncarmen.com. If you'd like to buy my books, The Gift of Maybe or A Year Without Men, they're available at all major bookstores and online retailers. And if you like this podcast, you can subscribe and leave a comment.